Okay, I think everybody's here.
Use that.
Oh, Mike.
Okay, so good morning. Welcome, everybody. This is True Power demonstration of Fred. This is Fred, and he's a free energy device. And I want to welcome everybody to Earth Day. And Earth Day is a very important day because of what we're not doing. There never used to be an Earth Day, right? But now there's an Earth Day because we forgot that we're living on the Earth and we have to look after it. Now we're gathering today to find out why we don't celebrate Earth Day every day of the year. And that problem has to do with this word, over unity. Do we know what over unity is? This part of the talk, we're going to have four sections today. This part of the talk is about over unity. Now, the whole thing of over unity, and the reason why a lot of people came to see this is because we've been taught that you can't get something for nothing, or that you can't have free energy. Well, that is based on the idea that there is no over unity. In other words, over unity means 100% or better. And under unity would be like 95%. Or like normal motors, I think we're lucky if we get 70% out of a normal motor, right? And maybe cars conversion is like more 40%, something like that. So we've been taught that you can't get something for nothing, and that there is no over unity devices, because actually engineering is taught how to create under unity devices. Well, that has a history. That has a history that started with a guy by the name of Tesla. Okay, everybody's heard of Nikola Tesla. He invented this kind of power. And this is alternating current. Alternating current, everyone understands about that. AC is a wonderful idea because it uses part of the top cycle and the bottom cycle. And when the motor goes around, it creates both. It has a positive polarity, or a north pole, and a negative polarity, or a south pole. And that means that this kind of electricity was twice as efficient as DC. Now this happened at the beginning of or the end of the 1800s, beginning of 1900s. And there was a guy that was very, very jealous of Nikola Tesla. Anybody know his name?
Edison?
That was Thomas Edison, who is the big hero. Apparently he invented these. He actually didn't invent these, and he is not really a hero. He's the anti-hero of electricity, because he was one-upped by Tesla, let's say, and not only one-up. I mean, Tesla was way over unity compared to Mr. Edison. Mr. Edison was not that smart. He had to do thousands and thousands of tests, and what we hear about Edison is that he had so much persistence, and he did. But what was he trying to do? He was trying to create what Tesla had already created. Except Tesla had created a light bulb that would glow at a distance from a radiant energy source. So what I'm going to show you today is a radiant energy source. Now, the history, what happened, okay, is everybody okay with this English? Anybody have questions? Dodo, you have a question? Shenzhen? Okay, you're okay with this, Kat? You're okay, Mark? Okay. Because Michael is happy to translate if we need it, okay? Mike has a really great Chinese, and I'm so happy that he's here. So the problem became face-off between who would dominate or what would dominate the energy market in the 1900s. And in the 1900s, Tesla was very well respected, and he lived a long time until he finally died, and all of his notes and everything were confiscated by the CIA. Now, the problem with that is that we don't know how much great stuff was, how many great ideas he actually had. But in the meantime, Westinghouse, General Electric, and Thomas Edison, who was affiliated with those companies, they decided that if they created an over-unity device, maybe I'll stick over-unity in here with these guys. If you created an over-unity device, how would you get paid for it? Okay, because everybody would have free energy. And so the whole idea of transmission cables came into being because Tesla was going to create radiant energy towers, and you've probably seen pictures of those if you've done any looking into alternate methods of energy creation. You've probably seen these towers, and those towers would radiate energy that you could pick up with any device. For example, your lights, your telephones, your PA systems, all of that stuff could pick up basically what we might call now radio waves, or some kind of transmission signal like a microwave signal. A microwave signal can carry radiant energy. Now there's a narrow band of what is called electricity now that we use in our lines, in things like this and here. And we believe that electricity is flowing through these lines, when in fact it's not. The electrical charge is actually flowing along the outside, and this is just directing. Now there's certain principles that we know of, and we've taken the whole idea of what we know about electricity and created a lot of devices that work nicely. But the problem with that is that this is just one idea of what electricity is. There's another electricity, it's called the dielectric current. The dielectric current can flow through the ether, as it were. Okay, so let's look at over-unity though. Is this a viable idea? Can anyone think of anything that's over-unity? What about in nature? I take a seed, I plant it in the ground. Apple tree comes up. Do I get one apple? No, I get thousands of apples. And that tree is an over-unity device. It's a free energy device, really a tree. A tree is. What else? What else in nature? Human beings are definitely free energy devices. We talked about this last night, Michael and I. Now, if you're a couch potato, you're probably an under-unity device. Okay? You're probably under-unity because you consume more than you produce. Okay? This whole idea of over-unity is that you produce more than you consume. Well, of course people are, consuming actually relatively little, but we have creative power. And if you look at what creation is, creating something from nothing, the creative process itself is an over-unity idea, okay? Because we take nothing. How about education? You guys are all in grad school. Why do you go to grad school? Because you probably get a better job, right? So it's an over-unity proposition, right? You go to grad school, you get your PhD, and then you get a good job where you do some research or do a postdoc. So this is not an unusual idea when we start thinking about it. But what about physics? What about physics? Do we have any over-unity devices in physics? We have lots of them. Let me draw some for you. Okay, here's one of the first over-unity devices. Pushing this up, instead of lifting it straight up, it's an inclined plane, right? An inclined plane has a mechanical advantage. Mechanical advantage is over unity, right? And that's why we use it. Humanity uses it all the time. What's this? A seesaw, a lever, a fulcrum. Here's the fulcrum, here's the lever. And this is an over-unity device, right? It's an over-unity device. So nature is filled with over-unity devices. Almost all biological beings are over-unity because they start out with some raw nutrients and develop from a seed into an active being, whatever kind of being. So nature has certain principles that we can exploit. So technology in general is what? Has it done? What has it done for humanity? It's helped us a lot, right? So technology is this squared. You know, we took these little principles and we kept applying them and kept applying them until we have the world that we know. But another thing happens. We have another over-unity device, but these ones are controlled by nature, but we have some that are not controlled by nature. Okay, what about this over-unity device? What is this? What kind of over-unity device? This is an over-unity device created by man. What's this? This is a diagram of what I'm trying to start right now. True power systems, and we will take some raw materials and we will add value and create a profitable corporation. Every profitable corporation is an over-unity device, right? They take human resources, capital, land, labor, and create an over-unity situation. Because if they don't, what's going to happen? that company is going to go bankrupt, right? So every corporation out there is an over-unity corporation, except for one small factor. Okay, what's this word? Michael, got any translation for that? This is externalities. So sorry. Where's my secretary? externalities. An externality is something like the damage that is done to the environment when you pollute the rivers, pollute the ocean, overfish the ocean, put carbon dioxide and other pollutants into the air. And none of those externalities have been accounted for by man. And that's why we're celebrating Earth Day now instead of celebrating Earth Day every day. We had a big environmental problem on our hands due to this kind of over-unity device. Now, you might drive a Mercedes-Benz and you say, that's a really good car. I love that car, it has all the latest features, it gets good gas mileage, or you might even drive a Toyota Prius that's, half electric and half gas, and you say, that's a really good device, but really, this is still based on some bad engineering. Okay? The bad engineering comes from the fact that externalities, the thing that drives engineering, especially these days, it's not the environment. The thing that drives engineering is money. Okay, because all of those people are working in over-unity corporations that do not take into account the environment and many other things. So, although we have all these new cars and they all look really nice and stuff, they're all under unity. Because when you take into the externalities into account, they are creating more damage than the help that they're creating. Okay. That's worth at least 5 trillion. 5 trillion. So this is way over unity, right? If we figure that out, we're going to take the output, 5 trillion, and the input, over the input, and war is 100 times over unity. War is 100 times over unity. So since World War II, that has been the main preoccupation of the United States. And I hate to say it, but my PhD was on environmental pollution and CO2 emissions. 1/3 of the emissions were created by the United States. Not only from cars, but also from cattle, etc. So this also is a big problem because of this. Externalities. What were the externalities in this war? 1.6 billion people were killed. 100,000 refugees are flooding into Europe, etc. Okay, now, the reason why I bring all of this up is we think that this is normal. This is not normal. This is not normal. This is way whacked. Okay? We are over unity individuals, and we are now starting to see that there are better ways of doing things. Better ways of doing things. For example, like Fred here. Fred is a free energy device, and you may think the question that everyone asked, how am I doing on there? Is it still going?
17.
17? Okay, we're going to go 3 more minutes because that thing will shut off, and then we're going to take a break, and we'll move on to the next part. Now, what so many people have asked me is that why aren't these free energy devices available? Well, there were many free energy devices. A guy by the name of Thomas More, he was going around the United States showing off his 10 kilowatts. This is 3 kilowatts here, but his 10 kilowatt device in the 50s, and he started getting harassed by the electricity companies because they didn't want him competing until such point that they were shooting at him. And there's a long history of that happening to people. And so eventually, and Thomas More, actually, his free energy device had what was called directional valve. Okay, because the technology was tubes. He had figured out how to put diodes together, except as tube technology, and his technology became the transistor because one of his friends worked for Bell Labs. He stole the idea, and Bell Labs, right after this, announced, "Oh, we just invented the transistor." They stole it from Thomas More. And then this energy device came out again in the 60s and 70s called TPU, and you can look it up. And again, the device disappeared, and so did the guy that invented it. Okay, now you might think, well, this is a risky business. We are at the end of oil. The stock market already knows that we don't have any more oil. Why was this war fought? This war was fought so that it could steal $5 trillion worth of oil from Iraq to make sure that the American military has enough oil to continue its domination of the world. But that's ending, because oil is ending. We are past peak production, and now we're going downhill. The markets already know this, so something has to replace it. So the time has come that this device can be very well received, because people are also coming to a time of more and more consciousness. We're very aware of the environmental changes that are taking place, global warming, big storms, all of that sort of thing. And more people can accept we have to do things differently. Now, you might think, well, this is a fringe idea. No, who's doing this? There are 6 volumes here. 6 volumes here, and I highly recommend this to the students in environmental sciences. This gentleman, and you can download this whole series from the internet. Patrick Kelly is his name. These are 6 volumes of research, devices, diagrams of over-unity devices. Over-unity devices. For example, these two books are over 100 patents that have been filed in the United States and in. This is all the diagrams, all the stuff, all the knowledge that you need to know to create these diagrams, to create these devices is here in the patents. Over 100 patents here, and this is other research that is being done. Again, all of the information is here. All of the experiments have been carefully explained, and you can find all kinds of ideas here, from everything from better fuel economy in your cars to creating devices like this, like FRED, free energy devices. There are literally thousands of people working on this. Literally thousands of people. There is a company in Korea, next door to Vietnam, next door to us, I guess, that is now marketing a similar product. My friend Tom in Canada, he's marketing a green energy machine that is actually, I believe, and I'll have to talk to you about this later, Kev, being already marketed in Saudi Arabia. Okay, so this is no longer a fringe idea. Now you might see on the internet some kind of sketchy kind of stuff. We're not associated with that. There's solid research here. And I mean, there's a lot of research here. And a lot of people have found out new ways of tapping into this radiant energy, the dielectric field, and what is sometimes called the 0 point energy. So we'll leave it here. Is there any questions? We're going to take about a 5-minute break. You can have some drinks, a little bit of food. Back with this. Okay, thank you. We'll come back in a few minutes. Thank you.